Hi, I am Kaylee Lawrence, a junior at Glen Academy High School, and today I will be reading Buffalo Woman. There was a young man who was already a great hunter. Even coyotes and the crows and the magpies followed him to pick up the scraps from his hunting. He felt a wonderful harmony with the buffalo. The people knew he could find the herds when they needed meat. When they had hunted, the young men gave thanks to the buffalo had offered themselves. One early morning, the young man went to a place at the stream where the buffalo came to drink. He waited, hidden among the bushes, watching the butterflies opening and closing their wings in the warming sun. After a while, the young man saw a buffalo cow plodding through the tall weeds toward the water. He tightened an arrow against his bowstring. The buffalo was coming very slowly. The young man did not know whether he fell asleep or what happened, but when he looked again, the buffalo was not there. Instead, a beautiful young woman stepped from the weeds onto the pebbles at the water's edge and took a drink. She was not one of his people. Her clothes were different and her hair was not braided. She smelled of wild sage and prairie flowers. He knew at once that he loved her. "I come from the Buffalo Nation," she told him. "They have sent me because you have always had good feelings for our people. They know you are good and a kind man. I will be your wife. My people wish that the love we have for each other will be an example to both of our peoples to follow." The young man and the beautiful young woman were married. They had a son named Calf Boy. Their life together was good. But the young man's relatives did not like his wife. They often said unkind things among themselves. "He has married a woman without a family," they said. "Her ways are different. She's like an animal. She will never be one of our family." One day, when the young man was away hunting, his relatives came back and said to his wife, "You should never have come here. Go back to wherever you came from. You are nothing but an animal anyway." At that, she immediately picked up Calf Boy and ran out of the teepee. The young man was returning home when he saw his wife and child hurrying away from the camp. He was angry when he found out what had happened and set out at once to bring them back. Their trail led across the rolling country. He followed all day, hearing the grasshoppers calling again and again from the sagebrush on every side. Evening was coming when he saw in the distance a painted teepee with smoke rising from a cooking fire. The man followed their trail until he again came to the teepee. His son ran out to meet him. "Mother does not want you to come any farther. Tomorrow she will make the rivers dry, but when you are thirsty, look for the water in my tracks." That evening his wife told him, "My people live beyond that distant high ridge. They know I am coming home. They are angry because your relatives were unkind to me. Do not follow any further or they will kill you." But the young man replied, "It does not matter when I die. I shall not turn back. I do this because I love you both." When his wife was asleep, he buckled his belt through hers and wrapped her long hair along his arm. The old bull bellowed and charged out from the herd. The ground trembled under his thundering hoofs. He stopped just in front of the young man. He pawed the earth into dust clouds, hooked his horns into clumps of sagebrush, and tossed them aside in anger. The young man stood still. He showed no fear. "Ah, this straight-up person has a strong heart," breathed the young bull. By your courage, you have saved yourself. Follow me. The old bull led the way. The silent multitude parted and joined again behind. At the center was the painted teepee. The whole buffalo nation formed into radiating circles. The calves made the inner ring, the yearlings the next, the cows and the bulls, all according to their ages. Straight up person, said the old bull in a voice which all could hear. Your relatives insulted my daughter, but you have come among us because you love your wife and child. Then find them. If you cannot, we shall trample you until not even a stain of your blood remains. The young man passed in front of the little calves. They looked alike, but one flicked his ear as if troubled by a fly. He laid his hand on the calf's head. My son, he said, and a sound of surprise came from the multitude. This must be a wonderful person, they said. He then walked around the circle formed by the cows. Again, they all looked alike, but he came to one with a cocklebur on her back. My wife, he said. Once more, a sound of surprise came from the buffalo nation. Ah, he calls her wife. This straight-up person loves his wife and little child, the old bull announced. He was willing to die for them. We shall make him one of us. We shall all join in with our thoughts while we do this. The young man was led inside the teepee, and they tied the door shut. His only covering was a buffalo robe with the horns and hoofs attached. For 3 days and nights, the buffalo surrounded the teepee, filling the air with their continuous grunts and bellowing. On the 4th day, the bulls made a sudden rush and pushed the teepee over. They rolled and rolled the young man in a wallow until he was covered all over with dirt. They squeezed the breath from his body and breathed new breath into him. They licked him and rubbed him against him until his man smell was gone. He tried to stand, but he could not. He felt the robe becoming a part of him. When the bulls heard him grunting, they worked even harder, tumbling him over and over. And at last, he stood up on his own 4 legs, a young buffalo bull. That was a wonderful day. The relationship was made between the people and the buffalo nation. It will last until the end of time. It will be remembered that a brave young man became a buffalo because he loved his wife and little child. In return, the buffalo people have given their flesh so that little children and babies still unborn will always have meat to eat. It is the Creator's wish. The end.